Hey everyone, it's Melinda Thomas, and I am coming to you on June 3rd, 2020. And the topic for today is a customer journey map. And when I started to think about what's happening in the world right now, which is basically the world is grieving. It's on fire in many ways, and people are grieving everywhere. We're disappointed, we're frustrated. We have a lot of emotions, and it's ironic because it is actually makes it easier for you to communicate with your customers, because really all you have to do is to think about how you feel. What are you experiencing? And this is seriously a very important consideration for all businesses. It doesn't matter if you're selling directly to customers or if your customers are businesses, so you're B2B. Those are people. They're all people. And right now in this crisis, there are so many emotions that are shared by all people. So I want to talk about the fact that you need to know where your people are right now. You need to know what they're feeling, what their questions are, what their frustrations are. You need to ask some questions, but you also need to be there listening. And it's not a time to hide, but if you're unsure of what to do, take a step back and consider what people are going through and what they might need. You might have something really fabulous planned, a fabulous sale on something or other. And right now might not be the time for that. It might be next week. It's not going to be, you won't have to prolong it for too long, but be sensitive, be relevant to what is happening right now. You would not sell Christmas trees right now, right? It's June. It would seem so out of place. And there are many things in your message that might be out of place right now that you need to look at and make sure it is completely in line with what's happening. So let's talk about a customer journey map, because a customer journey map is not something you create and stick on a wall. It is something that evolves just the way we do as people, because your customers evolve, your business evolves, and you need to make sure to treat this like a living thing. It's like your mascot in some ways, or like, and then, you know, your kind of your own personal customer ambassador, because this will talk to your staff, to your marketing department, to your salespeople, the way a customer would. And that's what this captures. It captures feelings, emotions, and thoughts, questions. So we'll start off, first of all, with where do you start? And why do you think you might need one? I'm going to just step back for just a second and talk about the fact that there have been some studies done, and they looked at what businesses think and then what customers think. And this is on a B2B level. So you might think that all of your customers are empowered with all the knowledge they need because they get constant sales information from other vendors or other companies, and that they have a budget that's burning a hole in their pocket. They need to use it before the end of the year, the end of the quarter. This is all true, except for the fact, what's true about it is the budget. But in reality, those customers, those people are feeling stressed, overwhelmed, and this is even outside of a crisis. So this is on a ordinary day before anything happened. They are stressed, they're overwhelmed, they have tremendous responsibility because they are spending somebody else's money, and it's not usually $10, it's usually hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars when they purchase something. So they are under a great deal of stress, and they are, according to the study, they feel unsure and very reluctant in some cases to make decisions because they are bombarded with so much information. So they also have stakeholders that often have to be part of the process. And if you've ever worked with a committee before, even a committee of two, you and someone else, it's really difficult sometimes to get onto the same page. And what happens is deals either lag, they start to slow down, you know, your deal was going along, and then all of a sudden there's crickets coming from the potential customer, or it gets scrapped altogether. And that could be for a number of reasons. So keep in mind that you are talking to, selling to, dealing with someone just like you, a human being who doesn't enjoy being under pressure. So the customer journey, it starts, in my mind, and I think I really want you to be thinking about it from the customer perspective, with an inspiration. So the inspiration is a need or a want. If you are, you know, the need might be the pipe broke, or their machinery broke, or they have a software issue that's not working and they have to fix it ASAP. That would be a need. The other side of that is all of their competition is upgrading to new software and they need to do that too. So their software is working just fine, but they're looking to upgrade in some way. And this is true across so many different industries. This could be a car, you know, it could be that their car works just fine, but you know, what they're looking for and hoping for are some new safety features, or some new, some of the new bells and whistles that are out there that the cars from maybe 5 years ago don't have. So there are a lot of different reasons. And what I want you to do is take a look at 3 of your best customers and start to look at why they purchased from you. And this is something you can ask them. I really encourage you to ask at the time that they reach out to you to start the conversation or to purchase. Ask them, what was the inspiration? What was the need or the want that caused them to start looking for a product or solution like yours? That's going to give you a ton of information. And if you're a startup or you're a company that right now doesn't have sales, you want to be thinking about, who do you want to buy your product? And why would they start looking for a product or solution like yours? That's going to help you get to them. I just realized I've got a plant that's, that's getting to me. That's going to help you get to them at the time when they are, you're going to be able to anticipate that in other customers when you know it from customers you've already worked with, or when you know it based on the persona profile, the customer profiles that you've developed. That is the first place. So a need or a want, an inspiration. If you're in the home business, it might be, it might be the inspiration is, we're going to have another baby. Or it might be, our kids are going off to college, we want to downsize. So many different needs, wants, inspirations based on your best customer. The next point on the journey is usually research. So now they know what they need or want, and they start to do research. And research includes, you know, Google, it includes reading reviews, it includes asking colleagues, it could be going to a trade show or an expo. There are a lot of different ways that people do research. And they're also feeling a lot of emotions. And this is true for every stage of the journey. What are they feeling? What are the questions that they have? And what are their thoughts right now? When you can tap into that, when you can identify that, you can write messaging that answers those questions, that taps right into those thoughts. And they're like, wow, yeah, I was thinking exactly that. So there is that piece of it, that emotional piece of it is in every point of the journey. So that's the research portion. Next is comparison. So they've done some research. They've got, let's say, 3 choices for companies they think they might want to work with. Now they're trying to figure out, is this solution, product, service, is this something that will solve the problem right now? Is this something, do we want to spend more because that will mean we won't have to purchase anything in the next 2 to 3 years? So there are a lot of different considerations in the comparison stage. Again, thinking about their thoughts, their questions, and their emotions. I mean, if you're dealing with a company, if you're dealing with a representative from a company who's going to be spending a couple thousand, $100,000, let's say your product or your software or your service is $1 million contract, that's a lot of pressure. Because guess what? If it goes wrong, if somehow they choose the wrong choice or they make the wrong choice, it's going to come back to them. And think about how you feel when you make a mistake, even a little one. But my gosh, when you're spending millions of dollars, you really don't want to make a mistake too often. So that is in the comparison point. So now they've gotten past comparison and they've chosen your company and they're going to make a purchase. There are studies have shown that 40% of the time at the point of purchase, they're still second guessing themselves. They're still wondering if they are making the right choice. So what can you do as a company to support them at that point? What can, think about the things that you could offer them, the, sort of guides or tips that could help them to solidify that decision and really feel like they're making the right one. Then after the purchase, the next point in the journey is usually support. So support could mean setting up the product or service or software or solution. It could mean troubleshooting something that's not going right. It could include any number of both issues, but also opportunities. So in that post-purchase phase or part of the journey, they are still probably feeling a little, like that buyer's remorse. They're not sure. But the more that you can support them, the more that you can show them that just because they pushed buy or they signed off on the contract, it doesn't mean that they're now floating out there alone. So if they have a product or service, you could set up a series of emails that you would send out for the first 4 weeks with, hey, here's a tip this week for using your product or service. Or if this happens to you, please do this and then contact us. Or, there's just a number of different ways for you to enhance the purchase after the purchase. It also helps to inspire the next part of the journey, which is buying again. And buying again can mean renewing their subscription, renewing their membership, buying an additional something to add on to what they have. It could mean buying the same thing again. Maybe it's something that is that wears out and they need to buy another one and they have a choice of buying another one of yours or buying somebody else's. So that is the point where you want to be communicating with them, you want to be supporting them, you want to be doing everything you can to ensure them that they made the right choice before and staying with your company is the right choice. And that can be in a number of different ways. So just to recap, I will show you a visual that that I've created with those 4 or actually 6 steps. And it is really important to remember that you can call these whatever you want. But this is the customer journey map that I just talked to you about. So it's the moment of inspiration. That's the need, the want. Research. They're looking to a lot of different sources for information on companies or products to fill this need or want. Then they go to the comparison point. So they've chosen from all the different options out there, they've chosen it down to hopefully 2 or 3. And now they're really trying to hone in on the thing that is going to solve that issue or fill that need or that want the best. And then the purchase can include delivery. It can includes everything from going through the process of buying, whether that's a contract, whether that's on your website. And delivery is, what do they get after they sign the contract or they hit buy now? What is that? Is that an email from you with a link? Is that a meeting to kick off your project together, or to installing the solution? Could be a number of different things. And that also works towards the next point in the journey, which is support. So they've just bought something and they want reassurance. They want to know that they don't just have this really cool thing and not know how to use it. So support includes answering their questions when they have them, and answering questions that you can assume they might have. So don't just assume that because you haven't heard from them that everything's great. You want to be there for them at that point to ensure that they're getting the most value out of what they've purchased from you. And then that sort of works its way into the next place. So it's really more of a cycle than a line. But so then when they need another product like yours, when they need to upgrade, when they need to renew or subscribe again, what can you do to help them to know that they should stay with you? What can you help them to know that they are making the right choice again? And I say a lot of this with what's happening in mind, because it really doesn't matter if you are talking about a day in 2019 or June 3rd in 2020. When you are looking at the customer journey, you are looking at a person, a customer, and what is that person dealing with today? There will be times, obviously, when your map isn't going to need to change, or the emotions and questions that they have will not change for a period of weeks, months, maybe even a year, hopefully. We've had a lot of change recently. But right now, I really encourage you to take your marketing, whatever you have created already, whatever promotions you have in line coming up, and look at that journey map again. Look at what are their emotions right now. You might have created that promotion even in May, but as of June 3rd, there are a lot of really big things happening in the world, and you have to be sure that your message is going to resonate right now. That's it for the customer journey map for today on the Business Buzz Show. If you have any questions, I hope you will reach out to me and let me know how I can support you, how I can help you. And if you don't have a customer journey map and you want someone to do the journey with you, I do customer journey workshops with companies. And it's an incredibly critical tool for you to have. And it's something that not every business has. So if you have one, you've got the edge. Thanks so much. I'll see you next time on the Business Buzz Show. Take care.